Welcome back. Crackdown on child marriage continues in the state of Assam with as many as 2,600 arrests made so far. Among them, there are women as well. 78 women, as per reports, have been arrested across the state on charges of illegal marriages. Those arrested have been booked under provisions of stringent POCSO Act and Prohibition of Child Marriage Act. The arrests come in the backdrop of growing debate on the minimum age of marriage for women. Meanwhile, police have set up additional prison facilities to house the accused. Two such arrangements have already come up in Gwalpara and Kachar districts. Family members of those arrested have been protesting against this operation. In fact, Kailash Satyarthi from the Children's Foundation and his Children's Foundation, in fact, has demanded that the Assam government should provide a monthly assistance of 2,000 rupees to every woman whose husband has been arrested till he gets bail. Meanwhile, Chief Minister of Assam has claimed that the drive is against the social evil of child marriage. What we are going to do is also bring to you some ground reports. My colleague Nibir is reporting from locations where these crackdowns have happened in the state, leaving a trail of crying women and broken homes. Nibir spoke to one such family in Kamrup rural district. The 16-year-old girl who had got married last year claimed that police had come to arrest her husband, but not finding him, arrested her father-in-law. She has a 3-month-old daughter and her husband is currently absconding. The family is left grieving as both the earning hands of the family are not with them anymore. Let's listen into these inputs coming in.
Amar jamere police dhorbaraisil, amar samay kharat nai, amar sami kharat nai. Thi polai goisi. Mor horok kharas amar mor horok loi goisi.
Police loi goisi. Ketia nise? Kon din nai?
February 3 tarikot
লৈ গৈছে এতিয়া তোমাৰ স্বামী মানে পলাই যাওঁতে তোমাৰ শ্বশুৰক পুলিচে লৈ গৈছে আচ্ছা আৰু 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 তোমাৰ এইটো এই বাচ্চা তোমাৰ কিমান মাস হৈছে বাচ্চাৰ 3 মাস হৈছে আৰু তোমাৰ বিয়া কেতিয়া হৈছে যোৱা বছৰে হৈছে
বিয়া 16 বছৰতে এতিয়া 17 চলি আছে 1 বছৰ হ'ল
2021 চনত 22ত বিয়া হৈছে 22ত বিয়া হৈছে তুমি এতিয়া কি বিচাৰা চৰকাৰৰ পৰা কি বিচাৰা তুমি
मोर आसन बसन एको ना लगे मुख स्वामी लगे मोर हुहुर लगे
ये पुलिस का 3 तारीख से आया फरवरी से 3 तारीख से आया वो लोग आया आके रात 2 बजे आया 2 बजे आके वो लड़का तो नहीं मिला वो मामा को उठा के ले गया मामा को उठा लेके अभी तक वो घर से कोई काम करने से आदमी नहीं तो 3 लड़का है 2 लड़की है अभी घर से काम करने के लिए कोई आदमी नहीं दोनों जो शादी करा वो तो अभी छोटा है
We are here in the Kamrup rural district. This is the Soigaon Bihapara area. This is one of those cases among the many cases where police action where the husbands have been arrested or a family member has been arrested in this massive crackdown against child marriage done by the Assam police. So this is a story of Jasmine and Sofikul. Sofikul, upon hearing that there will be a police action, ran away and the police instead arrested the father-in-law. And this is a story of Jasmine and Sofikul. Jasmine was underage. She was 16 when she married Sofikul and she already has a baby now, right now, and she's waiting for the return of her husband. This family is a farming family, so they are in massive debt and are very much struggling in terms of their financial situation. And when the police took the father-in-law, after that they have been waiting for the release of the father-in-law and also are facing a lot of financial issues. So this is one of those pictures that you can see in Assam today as the police crackdown against child marriage continues across the state. Over 2,500 arrests have been done so far in the state. We are bringing you those pictures from the ground.
Well, let me introduce joining us here on the program, Dhananjay Tingal, Executive Director, Bachpan Bachao Andolan, Dr Rajdeep Roy, BJP MP of the Lok Sabha. Very good evening, gentlemen. I'm also hoping to be joined by Kapil Madan, who is a political analyst in due course of the program. But first of all, very good evening, Dhananjay Tingal. If I may begin with you on this issue of criminalizing marriages which have not adhered to the eligibility criteria. Now, let's not forget, here is a social segment from the report. If you saw it, they are poor, they are vulnerable, mostly uneducated, disempowered. Is it fair that the state should one fine day of its choosing wake up to this menace and go into this jail bharo spree, crushing livelihoods on the way? Can there be this kind of a unidirectional action on the child marriage menace?
Ma'am, I will not say this a unidirectional action. If you see, the awareness generation on the child marriage has been going on for ages. Starting from Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Vidyasagar, all of them, they have been raising awareness. Recent times also, many international agencies, national agencies have done lots of awareness on the issue. But this menace was not stopping. See, we have to see that child marriage, under the garb of child marriage, how the girls are being exploited. Supreme Court has also given a judgment that where they say child marriage is a child rape. So in this case, first let me say that we welcome the action taken by the Assam government. It's a very bold action and it's a very historic action which they have taken. If child marriage would have been right, then SDG would not have said that the child marriage, that would not have been a goal. It's a goal of elimination of child marriage because this has resulted in the trafficking of women. It has resulted in all kind of activities of exploitation of girls of the maximum, lack of education. So awareness has been going on for a long time, but that has failed. And as from BBA, from the Kailash Satyarthi Children's Fund, together we have been demanding. On 16th of October, we launched a campaign. And you will be surprised that campaign was led by more than 76,000 women across India. And they all demanded stringent legal action. Because it has been under the law also, it has become a law that the Child Marriage Prohibition Act has come into force since 2006. And if the action was not happening, just because it was social evil, people would think it's a necessary. It is need to understood that this is leading to the exploitation. It needs to stop, and some government has to take the action. And we are happy that Assam government took a bold step of
yes, some action had to be taken, no one is denying. This is a social menace, no one is denying. But the nature of the action that is taken, firstly, in terms of the kind of sections, kind of provisions that have been invoked, questions raised on it, and the manner in which it is being done at the moment is also being questioned. Kapil Madan is also with us. He's a legal voice, and I will have Mr. Madan. Very good evening. Thanks for joining us. We were just discussing, and Mr. Tingle was arguing that this was much awaited, much needed. Somebody had to crack the whip, and therefore, and he's from a children's foundation, from the Kailash Satyarthi Children's Foundation, Bachpan Bachao Andolan, saying that this is a welcome step. My question to you is, under provisions of POCSO, there is an assumption of sexual assault. Now, how is it that POCSO is invoked, and how is it that the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act is invoked? Because if I am not mistaken, the Supreme Court is still examining this matter. It's a matter that has not been settled by the courts yet.
Yes, I agree with you, Frida, and your information is correct. If you may also recall, and your viewers would also like to know, that the Supreme Court, in the context of where we had a case where two minors indulged in sexual activities, and there were an observation made by the Honorable Supreme Court that it is not, the intent of the act is not to prosecute minors indulging in maybe romantic affairs or thing like that. Now, what happens is that a strict compliance of the law have some disastrous consequences, and you have an extremely sensitive situation where the victim that you are trying to protect. Now, for an example, what we've seen in Assam is that they have arrested individuals who have married an underage girl, while a strict implementation of the law would warrant that action. But at the end of the day, you are basically not only punishing the husband, somehow the victim also gets affected by such an action. So I agree with what Kailash Foundation has said, that there should be a robust mechanism, there should be a robust scheme, because ultimately we are trying to protect those underage girls. Now, if they are married and if their husband or if any of their family member gets arrested because of it, then in that situation, the state should also come up with a comprehensive policy to ensure
Yes,
that
that
girl
brings me to this point. Very interesting. Dr. Rajdeep Roy, thank you for patiently waiting. I want to ask you here what Mr. Madan is arguing. It's a penny wise, pound foolish kind of a situation. If you're trying to protect these young girls, do they look like women who are in any way feeling protected by this action? They are crying, they are protesting, they are angry at the government, they're calling it an abuse of state power in Assam. Dr.
Well,
Rajdeep
I
Roy.
will start right from where Mr. Dhananjay actually left. I will start from actually where Mr. Dhananjay left. He said it is a very bold step. It was needed to be done. It is a very historic step. It is a legal step. It is a step that is meant for the betterment of the society since the days of Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Now, what is the status in the entire country? You have shown it by statistics in your screen. Our viewers have gone through it. I'm not going to get into it. Now, what is the situation in Assam today? The Chief Minister of Assam has decided to crack down on these cases of 30% underage marriage, 32% of underage marriage, which is slowly and slowly increasing. I'm not concerned about the statistics in other states where it is more than Assam. What the state government of Assam under the leadership of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma has decided is that we will have to stop this evil at some stage or the other. If you do not have a strong deterrent to tell your people, to tell your citizen that government is strong enough to take decision and execute the law, it will continue unabated as it has happened over the last 70 years. Now I will draw a parallel on certain thing which is slightly away from this issue. Please give me a few seconds to explain.
Yes.
Before 2014 in the country, you saw the episodes of bomb blast and terrorist activities happened all across the nation, from Bombay to Jammu Kashmir, from Kohima to Bangalore. All of us saw. Now, as soon as there was a deterrent, as soon as the government came to power under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji, they started their crackdown on those terrorists, doing surgical strike, hounding those terrorists out and putting them to book and making the law,
the problem with your argument, Dr. Roy, if I may come in and we need to stick to this.
Please,
just one simple interjection.
Please let me finish.
Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma was the health minister of Assam
the question
for 2 terms.
is
So today when you're quoting those figures, those dismal figures of maternal mortality and infant mortality, isn't Mr. Sharma answerable? Why are the figures so dismal in Assam under his watch when he was the health minister?
Personally, if Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma is answerable, so are all the health ministers in the country. It is a social evil. We have discussed this and everybody accepts this. It is not the responsibility personally of the health minister or the chief minister. Society has to act.
I'm
and
saying
there has
because
to
you
be a
were quoting the figures that we are of course running those figures and you were quoting those figures and the CM has justified this action also quoting the figures of the National Family Health Survey, which is why I had to bring in that point. Carry on, sorry. Yes,
West Bengal, it is more than 40%. West Bengal, it is more than 40%. Are you doing the show in West Bengal or executing this law in West Bengal? No, they were not doing. It is that the Assam Chief Minister in right earnest has decided to implement these laws, to execute this law, to make a strong deterrent so that the culprits never repeat this sort of.
Is this a fair application of law? When these matters, especially the POCSO cases have gone to court, if I may submit to you very humbly, Dr. Roy, Karnataka High Court quashed a POCSO case against a Muslim man who was arrested after a hospital made mandatory disclosure under the law that his pregnant wife was 17 years.
That is on the merit of the case.
Another case in Punjab and Haryana High Court also held that the marriage is illegal but it's not null and void. So there are issues, there are difficulties in this which need to be resolved. So even before that could be done, isn't this a situation of putting the cart before the horse? Kapil Madan, quick response please.
Now, I have a serious objection to
no,
the
absolutely, absolutely not.
which
You have to
Mr.
give me a chance to respond and all. You
No,
have
no,
to give
Dr.
me a
Roy,
chance to
can I
respond.
have Kapil Madan? I'll come back to you
you have
again,
to
and
give
then
me a
I'll
chance
go
to
to
respond.
Mr.
You know,
Tingle. Let Mr. Kapil Madan respond to this.
I just want to lodge a very strong protest to the analogy and the example which Mr. Rajdeep Roy tried to give. He tried to draw a parallel between a act of terror and another social problem where we have an issue of child marriage. Now, what was he trying to convey? I fail to understand how these two situations are similar. One is an act of terror, one is a social menace which is prevalent in our society. We can't shut our eyes to it. But I again it sounded to me again there is an attempt to paint it against a particular community. I mean, it is not a community specific problem. It is
No,
it
but
is,
that
it
may
is a
not
problem,
necessarily be true, Kapil Madan. I can tell you our reporters are there. This is a crackdown across communities. So I'll have to say, from the footage, from the reports we're getting, from our correspondent on ground, it's not targeted at one community. It's clearly targeted at marriages that were ineligible to begin with. But I want to understand from you the retrospective application of law, Mr. Madan. Is that something that is allowed, that can be allowed legally?
Afrida, the basic rule is that you can't have a penal statute applied retrospectively.
Okay.
Now, for example, if as on today, if any particular act is not a crime, however, next month the government comes with a law and makes that particular act a crime, you can't prosecute someone because you have committed the same act at the time when there was no law that punished that act. So, meaning thereby...
But this law is there since
simple
1978, sir, the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act. It's there since 1978. Of course, the age limit has been tinkered with. It still stands at 18 for girls and 21 for men, because even though there's a bill that is in Parliament to increase the age limit from 18 to 21, that has not been passed yet. So, a retrospective application of law, you're saying in this case, okay, Mr. Tingle, go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah. Ma'am, a couple of things. One is what Mr. Madan is saying, that this is being linked with the act of terror. I will say the crime against children is nothing short of act of terror. You are spoiling our one generation completely. This has been going on. The crime against children are being termed as a social crime and they are not being adhered to.
So you do believe that this is going to act as a deterrent? It will be an eye-opener? The society had to be woken up and shaken out of this? If this is what the state government thought in its wisdom was the best way, it went ahead with it. So you're calling it a bold step.
Action against this by the Assam government has not only shaken the Assam, but it has shaken the whole country. It has made the whole country look up and take up this issue of child marriage as a debate. Nobody was talking about child marriage before.
But what about the suggestion coming from Kailash Chaturthi on this? Dr. Rajdeep Roy, are you willing to provide for the sustenance of those women? It's not enough to just book their husbands and put them in jail. What will happen to those families and their children?
I would like
Dr.
to just say
Rajdeep Roy?
here. No, I'll just like to say here, I was in Assam and I know that...
Okay, Dr. Roy, 1 second. Mr. Tingle wants to finish. Go ahead, finish your point. Finish your point.
We have already demanded for rehabilitation. Efforts are going on. Assam government has already announced some rehabilitation packages, but we have also said that the children under whom the POCSO Act is being laid, they should be given the compensation as per the POCSO Act, which the government most probably will take it forward.
Okay. Will that happen, Dr. Rajdeep Roy? Is that likely to happen? Will the government take responsibility for the sustenance of those poor families?
I will. Let me explain to you. There is a program going on in Assam called the Arunodaya scheme. Under that scheme, the single female, be it married, unmarried, divorced, husband has expired, all the single female to the tune of 27 lakhs in the state of Assam are given a subsistence of about 1,250 rupees per month, amounting to almost 15,000 rupees per year. The Chief Minister of Assam has instructed the Deputy Commissioner and the SP to take care of all such families where the female is single now and with a child. their medical needs are taken care of, and you have already said that the such care centers has already been opened in the state in 2 districts, and I presume if the numbers are more, in the other districts also such care will be taken. Right from their ration, their food, their medical needs, to giving of cash in their hand has already been taken care of by the Assam government, as has been promulgated by Mr. Kailash Satyarthi through his foundation. Let me bring another point to light in the purview of this discussion. How many cases are there? Almost 4,000 plus arrest has been made. 9,000 people are there under the purview, of which only 40% are arrestable. Rest 60% are bailable. They can take help of the legal experts. They can take bail.
No, from the footage that I
They
see,
can
it
form
does
the
not
case,
seem
and
to
then,
me, in all
whatever
fairness,
legal-
Dr.
whatever
Rajdeep Roy,
legal-
that here is a segment of people who will be able to hire lawyers and fight their cases and run after schemes that the government has for all you know. I mean, I think I should just have Mr. Tingle conclude the conversation for us, whether organizations like Bachpan Bachao Andolan will take further efforts to go and reach out to those families, because what we have the Member of Parliament here tell us is that policies are in place, but they have to be accessed. The people out there will have to be informed. We as journalists try to do that through our programs. But organizations like yourself also perhaps will need to pitch. And I have quick 30 seconds. Yes, go ahead.
We have already offered it to the Assam government, to the CM also, to his office, that the Kailash Satyarthi Foundation, BBA, is ready to support all the victims of POCSO and other victims of child marriage till the time government support is not provided to them.
Okay.
That we have given it in writing, and we are committed to it. We want the list of the victims. If the government give us the list, we are ready to support them.
That's very reassuring. And on that positive note, thank you so much, Dhananjay Tingle, Dr. Rajdeep Roy, Kapil Madan, for joining us here this evening.
Thank you.